What's up, guys? It is Thursday, October 31st. We only took one trade today, and that trade was a nice 1 to 1.83 risk to reward. So coming into the market this morning on the 4-hour time frame, we were obviously very bullish. Bearish, sorry. Especially because we closed below this 4-hour fair value gap yesterday, and then also this 4-hour fair value gap right here. So if you look, there really wasn't much in the way for us to continue going up from. There was no level of support that I saw here in this range after this fair value gap right there to hold price to then move up higher. So because of that, I came in with a bearish bias. One of the things that I noticed was the fact that we did have this 4-hour level of sell side liquidity, and the reaction here was going to be very important. I dropped down into the 1-hour time frame, and I noticed that we did have a 1-hour fair value gap within that. So I figured, hey, if we are going to move on higher, this is a good area where that could potentially happen. And I also marked out this 1-hour fair value gap as that last line in the sand for bullish buyers to be able to hold price up. If we close below that, then we were going to end up hitting the previous week low, which was the target that I had if that were to be the case. Because if we look, this looks like a market maker buy model, and then shifting over to a sell model, coming to the terminus, which is the origination point of the buy model. So as you can see, that did follow through today. We did get that close down to that level. So dropping down to the 15-minute time frame as well. We always take a look at every single time frame that we can. Let me see here. Right, the market opens up and we just drop very drastically and start to find no level of support here. But if you notice, I wait until after 10, and after 10 o'clock, what do we have? We have a close below that 1-hour fair value gap. Here is the beginning of the 4-hour candle. I figured, hey, if we drop and then pump, then we're gonna end up getting a move on higher, and I'll probably catch a continuation somewhere around this area. But as you can see, we open, close, we do wick back up into this 15-minute fair value gap. That was very important for me to see that we were coming into this 15-minute fair value gap. We had that close below that 1-hour fair value gap, making it an inverse, which we also respected. So overall, I was looking to see, okay, if we're gonna respect that 1-hour inversion, then we'll definitely have some kind of move on up over the 10 o'clock open, find some kind of sweep within there, which, as you can see, we definitely have. Very minimal, but you can see it's just a tick above this old high here. The 10 o'clock open is right here. Price is consolidating here. We move on up, manipulate above that high, up into a 1-hour inversion fair value gap. That's also sitting inside of a 15-minute bearish fair value gap. We create a 1-minute bullish fair value gap here that does get inversed. All right, I entered in a little late because I saw it after the fact. And then it also did close below this 1-minute bullish fair value gap. So that also made me further bearish on this trade and more confident in the trade. And I was seeking to target this level of sell side liquidity, which was the previous week low, and price consolidates a little bit, which is fine because we know we are in Q1 of the Q4 cycle for the AM session, which typically consolidates. So we're just hanging out, watching this play out. And many times it did come up close to my break even, but it did not. And once price hit this low right here, which was this candle, I moved my stop to break even, leaving it a risk-free trade, because if it was going to hit this, it could have been a liquidity sweep to go higher, which I highly doubt it because we're so close to previous week low. But obviously NASDAQ has been on some games lately where it has done that. But today was not one of those days, obviously. As you can see, we do accumulate and then eventually just drop down into our target. Called it a day after that. As you can see, price has just been moving around in this area now. I don't foresee price moving anywhere. If we are going to get some kind of pump on here, it would probably be after 3 o'clock. But that's why I'm making this video so early, because we hit the objective for the week. So that was my bearish objective. I don't see there were plenty of other setups if you wanted to take something else, but after hitting this trade right here, it was totally fine. You know, I don't trade pre-market. I don't trade before the open either, so that's why I don't capitalize sometimes on these big moves. I was looking to see if we were going to end up getting a invalidation of any kind of bearish fair value gap, which we did right here. But I stick to my rules for a reason. We don't trade Q2, all right, especially if it's not 50% of the way through, which is around here. And you can see that does get invalidated, but there is this other one right here which holds more weight because it is higher in this leg. So if we do disrespect this one, we could tend to still respect this one or this one. So I like to look at the fair value gaps that are higher in premium if I'm looking for it to invalidate that to switch bullish, and then lower in discount if I'm looking for for it to become bearish. And so yeah, that's why I didn't take this here. And as you can see, price continued to move, and then after 10 o'clock was the end all be all. Yeah, we're super bearish. We closed below that 1 hour fair value gap. We're going to end up going lower to the previous week low. And I just sat tight, hoping that we would end up getting a entry, and we did. The ideal entry, if I had been watching it, would have been here. It would have been a 1 to 2.7, but 1.83 is totally fine too. So hopefully you guys ended up green, found this setup right here. Very nice setup. And yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. Peace.